Welcome to the Academy of Esports podcast. I'm your host, James O'Hagan. And in this week's episode, we're going to talk about esports and recruiting. Now, esports has become a $15 million a year scholarship opportunity for kids at the high school level, but in the next 4 to 5 years, that number is going to jump to $100 million. And I took the time to interview several college coaches who are recruiting kids actively for esports competitions. And I want to share with you some of those findings that I have from those interviews. Now, in the past, I've done interviews with Mark Deppy and Chris Haskell, Mark Deppy being at the University of California, Irvine, and Chris Haskell being at Boise State University. Both of those schools are top tier schools, a tremendous amount of resources. But what I have found in doing my interviews with some other college esports coaches is I found that there is a wide range of wants, needs, diversity of programs, diversity of school sizes all over the United States. But there were some major themes that trailed through all of the interviews. So what I'm here to present to you are some of those findings. I'm going to start first with some of the major themes. Now, if you can't see this because you're not watching this on YouTube, I am holding up my Rocket book here, and it's a non, it's just a simple old Rocket book. If you don't know what a Rocket book is, let me tell you just a little secret. I'm going to sidebar for just a second. Rocket books are great. You can use them. They're meant to be reusable notebooks. They've got a nice little app that attaches to them. They're kind of pricey. They run about, I think, anywhere between 30 and 40 bucks, depending on the type that you get. Little tip and trick. If you don't want to pay for a Rocket book, but you like the idea of having all of your notes in some place that can be easily scanned into a document and sorted into different drives and things like that, you can actually go to Rocketbook's website, download their app free of charge, go buy a friction pen if you really want to at Walgreens right now. You can get, I think, 4 pens for $6 running their back to school sales. And you can download all the pages that you need to make your own Rocketbook free of charge from their website. So you don't need to use any of your own personal money to get the Rocketbook experience if you want to try it out for yourself. But I have my notes here, and I want to kind of go over some of these notes because these are some very important things to consider. So going over my notes, here are the 4 things that need to be considered when doing when a high school student wants to be recruited into a college program. Number 1, they want to worry, they do check on rank. Second thing they check on are grades. They also check on character, and they check on flexibility. So when I'm talking about rank, this may scare some people off, but let's dive right in with this first one. Rank is the easiest way to check skill level of high school players. So if a student has a high rank in League of Legends or Overwatch, it's very easy to see that thing right off the bat. But from what I found, that is not the most important thing that college esports coaches consider when they are recruiting their kids, by and large. Now, I'm not saying there are going to be, please understand there's going to be some variety in here, but it's important to note that by and large, rule of thumb was that rank did not seem to be the end-all, be-all focus of coaches at the collegiate level. However, rank can impact your scholarship level. So if you are looking to get a scholarship and you're a high-ranked player, you may be presented with a higher level scholarship. I have yet to find a program that does a full ride with esports, but the numbers that I was hearing in the last through my interviews, highest number I heard from a college scholarship amount was $20,000. Smallest amount I heard was $2,000. So there's definitely, like I said, there's some variety in there as far as programming goes. And in some schools, what colleges are giving their esports coaches, in some cases, is a pool of money. So there's not always going to be a set dollar amount per player. Sometimes it's up to the college esports coach to decide how much to allocate to a certain player there. So highlights can help. You can produce a highlight video that kind of show off your rank. But again, those aren't important, and it doesn't even have to be a high production value. The big question they have, not only of your rank, is can you play as a team? So you may be a fantastic player. You may be great in an experience where you're not playing on a high school esports team. But you do have to be able to demonstrate that you can work as a team. Okay, so very important. Second thing but does rank, I would say higher than rank, are grades. Okay, so the big question being, can you handle the grind of games and class? Now, for some of you, this message really goes to the students. I know that there are a number of students who in the past have just gotten into high school level esports. They've been doing it in their homes for years. They're just getting into high school esports now. Even if your earlier attempts in your high school classes weren't good, there is hope, okay? A lot of these coaches don't care so much about what you did early on in your high school, it's how you finish. So for you, the high school gamer who may be coming into this going, oh, I only really did well after I got into esports, or I only just started to figure things out and now I'm really engaged in my academics. There is hope for you. So don't worry, you don't have to be a 4.0 student. Now, with that said, there are some colleges and universities that do have minimum GPA requirements. Usually that's at minimum a 2.0. And they also have minimum score requirements for ACT and SAT scores. Those will vary depending on the college university program that you're looking to get recruited. The esports coaches know this. So if you have any questions about that and you're talking to an esports coach, you're gonna have to be honest and upfront about what your current grade situation is, what your ACT score is, and what your SAT score is if you take that. Also, if you are a high school student who is approached by a college or university, also make sure to ask them about their graduation rate and their academic requirements for their university. It's a good way to have an open conversation about grades and class. Remember, you're going to college in this experience to get a degree. You're not going there to become a professional player. If you become a professional player, that's one thing, but you're not going there solely to become a professional esports athlete by and large. Like I said, it can happen, but when you're going to a college, the main focus of your college experience is to earn a degree. The third thing that these esports coaches are looking for, and this is probably of all the things that I've got of the four, this is probably the most important. But the third big issue is character. We live in an age where online toxicity runs rampant, okay? And if you're a high school esports athlete who deals in toxicity, lives in a toxic environment, acts in a toxic way, chances are if you're exposed or shown to be in that fashion, you will not be offered a college scholarship by and large. All programs value character over rank. They want somebody coachable. And can they play as a team? Are they a good teammate? Your public brand and your digital footprint is important. What does your public streaming profile show? So if you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to go get myself a college scholarship in esports, or if you're a teacher who is working with students who are thinking in this regard, please do. This is the good time to have an authentic conversation about digital citizenship, about digital footprints. In schools, I oversee, part of my job in the Racine Unified School District is I oversee the library program, and part of that program is the whole conversations we have around digital citizenship. It's hard to have an authentic conversation about digital citizenship with kids when we're talking about inauthentic things. So it's really important that when this conversation comes up is that we're doing it in a way that is connecting them to these intrinsically motivated things. They intrinsically want to be a gamer. They intrinsically want to stream. If they're thinking college is their future and they're thinking esports scholarship, they're going to have to think about what does that digital footprint look like. And the last thing that the coaches really focused a lot on is flexibility. So what else beyond the game does the student bring to the table? That's a big question. And we've talked about the ecosystem, the esports ecosystem. We've talked about why we want to do this. We want to diversify opportunities for student participation. We want to provide in that ecosystem that chance for scholar gamers really to come out. Remember, in my program, and I don't know about yours, but in my program, I'm developing scholar gamers. I'm not developing esports athletes. We want kids to be involved in the entire ecosystem around esports. So the kids who are journalists, those kids who are data analysts, those kids who know how to shoutcast. These are all things that are very important to college coaches as they're recruiting kids. So the other big thing too is, can you play multiple games? So you might be an Overwatch player, and Overwatch is your passion, and you might dabble a bit in, say, League of Legends or in Rocket League. Take a little bit of time and learn some more about those games. Or in my situation in Wisconsin, we have our Overwatch and Rocket League system. Our Overwatch and Rocket League season is going to be in the fall, and in the spring, in the fall we have Overwatch and Smash Brothers. In the spring we have League of Legends and Rocket League. Take the opportunity to participate in one game, and then in the other season, participate in another game as well, too. So those are the things that college coaches are looking for. Now, I have some suggestions, and this is my recommendation for how a student can go about getting recruited and getting recruited into the college or university that really is a best fit. Again, you can just go on to do a Google search, and you will find in a news report almost every day a new college or university is popping up an esports program. There's a variety of colleges that are going to fit student lifestyles and student interests around esports. So always make sure you're doing the research. Don't just go to the college or university that you're attracted that is attracted to you and wants to recruit you. Make sure it's a program for the student that is a good fit. But imagine if you're an esports coach at a college or university, and this was a question that I asked all of them directly. And I kind of asked them about the recruiting cycle. And yes, there are services out there that supposedly help to get you recruited. But I want my scholar gamers to kind of own the process of the recruiting, because right now this is not recruiting like college football is recruiting or college basketball is recruiting. This is a lot of this recruiting can be student owned and student driven based off of the interviews that I did. So I posed to the coaches, imagine if you only had 5 to 10 minutes. You're contacted by a high school student who is interested in attending your university. And you only have 5 to 10 minutes to look over what it is that they want to show you. And so I asked them, what would you want to see in that 5 to 10 minutes? What would give you a good indication of, yes, I want to contact this student and learn more about what it is that they do? And so the first thing that I found was that college coaches really want to be contacted. That's a big thing. They really want you to reach out and be proactive in pursuing, giving them the video and saying, here, check me out. Look at what I'm doing. It shows that you are, as a student, you are already engaged in the process of your higher education. That's a big plus. That is the intrinsic motivation beyond the games that says, yes, college is the next level that I want to go. I want to pursue a degree at your university or college, and I want to get a scholarship, hopefully through your program. Please, will you consider me? So that's number one. By reaching out, you begin to build a relationship that you didn't have before. Now, again, 5 to 10 minutes. So you have to think, okay, what can you do in 5 to 10 minutes? The other thing they said is not a highlight video. Do not send a highlight video. Highlight videos are not going to show much more than, hey, here's what I can do really well. Or is only going to show just very short clips, not giving an entire picture of the kind of person that you are. So instead, what I recommend to show off what you're doing is take a 3-minute clip of your gameplay. So if you're the high school student, take a 3-minute clip of your gameplay with your team that demos your communication in game. So it's going to, if I was going to do a setup for this, what it might look like is I would ask to have a webcam sitting at my station. I would ask to have something with recording software so that I can record a game clip and record all the conversation that's going on, not just from you to you, but also up across your whole team. So they can really get an idea of how you interact with teammates in a game. Include in that video, take it and edit it, clean it up, and then go back to it and maybe create a voiceover. So what I'm saying is leave the in-game communication in, but also, if you can, walk through this prospective college esports coach, walk through a growth mindset build. Talk about what it is that you're doing really well in this match, but also talk about the things that you notice that you could have done better, and talk about what it is that you can do better and practice for the next time. These are things that college coaches just love, because that shows that you're thinking not just about why you're successful, but also where you need to work. And you're thinking about how are you going to get there? Because those are things that you need to be able to communicate to your potential collegiate esports coach. Second recommendation. Again, thinking they only have 5 to 10 minutes. You need to tend your digital footprint. You need to take care of what your digital footprint looks like. Make a point to go through social media and check for anything that could be possibly damaging. Check for anything that anybody's tagged you in as well too, and remove yourself from those tags. You know, you're a junior, senior looking to go to college. You might have done some really dumb stuff, either in 8th grade, middle school, freshman, sophomore year, or beyond. Do take an opportunity to, because again, you're talking seriously about good money to get you to college, to get a degree that'll hopefully carry you on through life. Do take that moment to go through your social media and clean up anything that you think could be questionable. That includes anything on a Twitch account, on a Twitter account, Facebook. I would also highly recommend too that you create, if you haven't done so already, if you're a high school student, create a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn account is much more professional. It's never too early. Well, I mean, terms of service, I think you have to be 13 or 14, but you can create a LinkedIn account. And before you even start to look at some of these colleges, start to connect with some of the coaches through LinkedIn so they can get to see how you operate and interact online. And then maybe you can start to build relationships with those coaches in this way as well too. But again, you need to own what your digital footprint looks like. You are branding yourself. This is developing and maintaining your brand, your personal brand to the world. So do take that opportunity to really take care of your digital footprint. And kind of like I said with the LinkedIn thing, the number 3 thing I would suggest is you reach out. You make the first step. If the coach has not contacted you yet from a university that you really wish to attend, reach out to that coach directly. Even, like I said, the Mark Deppy and Chris Haskell, who run big programs, you can still shoot them an email or you can send them a tweet. And I have found that they are quick to respond, but they are looking for quality prospects. I would also take the opportunity to, because especially if you're going to contact a number of collegiate coaches, collegiate esports coaches, do take the time to write out and edit and work with either your team's GM, your teacher, a teacher you trust, like a guidance counselor or an English teacher. Write out that letter, that email that you would first send to a college esports coach. Edit it several times over. Make it so that it can be a form letter if you're going to send to multiples, but try to make it so that you can change certain things. So name of the college, obviously, name of the coach, if you can get it, and speak to why it is that you're reaching out to them, that you want to show what you can do. Again, we're talking about 5 to 10 minutes of time for these coaches to look over these things, and you only have one chance to make a first impression. So if you are a high school scholar gamer and you are reaching out to these colleges, do not just put together a flip email with your video and some links to your social media, but also take the time to craft an email that's personable, that they can understand what you're looking to do academically, so that they can understand if you're going to even be a good fit for the university. So also, one other thing, if you do make contact with a college coach, chances are, and a lot of them are doing this, the ones I talk to, they will ask simply, hey, do you have time to jump into a couple of games with us? So you might actually get the opportunity, if you're a high school esports, high school scholar gamer, to jump in with college esports athletes and actually take the reins of a game and see if you can even be a good fit. So you may be able to show off your communication skills and things of that nature. And remember the last thing, and this is the last recommendation. The focus of college is to get a degree. So show why you want to attend their school. Do your research before you look at a school. Be prepared to talk about your professional goals. Where do you fit into the esports ecosystem? Again, what games are you playing, but also what other things have you done? If you want to be a pro gamer, that's fine, but a college degree partially paid for with a scholarship can carry you further once your foot is already in the door. So again, just to review the 4 things I would recommend if you're a student, a scholar gamer who is looking to go to college on an esports scholarship. Number 1, you don't do a highlight video. You can have one, but the primary thing they're going to want to see is not a highlight video. They're going to want to see a communication video and a voiceover of you telling what you could do better, what you need to improve on, and how you're going to improve. The second thing is make sure to tend your digital footprint. Number 3, reach out, be proactive to those schools you are really interested in going to. And number 4, remember that college is all about getting your degree. So make sure that you are coming in with an idea of what the college is about and what it is that you can do, what you can do to become an esports athlete, but also a successful student at the college or university of your choice.
That will do it for this week on the Academy of Esports. I've been your host, James O'Hagan. Esports are organized competitive video games allowing schools to redefine their athletic culture, diversify opportunities for student participation, promote good physical and mental health, increase collegiate scholarship pathways, and play games. We can never forget the importance of play. The mission of the Academy of Esports is to support these ideals. The vision of the Academy of Esports is for all students to experience the fun and joy of playing competitive video games. You may follow me on Twitter at Jim O'Hagan. That's at JimOhagan, and through the Academy of Esports account at TAO Esports. It's a great way to get the latest blog posts, podcast episodes, and news coming out of esports and education. And remember, you can continue your engagement by going to www.taoesports.com. You can also connect through Facebook at www.facebook.com/TAOesports. Thanks again for listening, and I look forward to our time again next week.